Yeah, I keep hanging. Hey, okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I just got cut off for a second. Going through the question, do you have any tips on storytelling? Well, storytelling we've actually covered in a previous broadcast, so you may want to look at that one, go back to my future one. But the general tips on storytelling is, first off, you got to know how to tell a story. So, ideally, make sure you understand. You set the scene. What's the situation? What is the rising action conflict that's going on in the situation? And then at the end, when you resolve the conflict in the situation, what are the lessons learned? How do the people and characters change? Right? What's the key takeaway that you want to have in that story? That's an important piece. Doing all three of those things is going to be really important for you to do a better job of getting the story across. And then storytelling also something that can be done in just about any talk. Like when you're doing a keynote, I tell stories all the time. Now, your entire thing doesn't have to be a story because they also want to have the meat and the content as well. But storytelling is certainly a great way to connect with the audience. It's a great way to evoke powerful imagery and to share a bit more about who you are in terms of who you are, what you believe, and what your values are. So storytelling is really great that way. And a lot of again, I work with a lot of CEOs and entrepreneurs of big companies who have trouble selling their vision and selling their story. And so, when I sell my vision for DYPB, I talk about feeling lost, stuck, unfulfilled. I talk about how I struggle with that. I talk about how other people struggle with that, and I go through the whole story of what I went through and how we've helped people. And when you do that, people then get a sense, okay, yeah, now I see how personal brand can help people find more focus, alignment, and impact, which is what personal brand for me is all about. All right, so more questions here. Okay, here's one from James. Uh, when you're a part of the speaking panel, how do you balance the time of the panel sharing with the audience and the audience also being able to engage and ask questions? Sometimes I go to an event and people just talk at you. There's little to no discussion. That's a good point, James. I've actually run many panels and I've organized panels, and actually, as part of the LinkedIn Locals, which we do, most of them have a panel, and we've experimented with different things. But I can tell you that people want questions. So I think what you want to do, I would say my personal structure is, let's say you have a panel that's like an hour long. Um, One of the things you don't want to do is, number one, you want to have time for questions. I would actually put in 20 to 30 minutes of question time. And if people don't have questions, then you should always have a list of 5, 10 questions you get into. The second thing you want to do is that because there's no time, or not as much time, you can't have every panelist, like let's say there's 5 panelists, answer the question. Because if you do that after 2 questions, 20 minutes are gone, right? Pick a few panels, and if someone desperately in the panel wants to say something else to that question, let them. Same with the Q&A. As soon as someone asks a question, have them pick a person, or ask the panel of one person to take it on, a second person maybe to follow up. But you don't want everyone to answer, because then again, in 20 minutes you'll get 3 questions in. So you want to maximize the opportunity for the people to speak on the different topics. You also want people in Q&A to be able to ask as many questions as they can. Okay, so that, but you always have to have the moderator always has questions in hand in case there's an audience that's not engaged. But most audiences are pretty engaging, I find. So that's what you do. All right, next question. What if you determine your themes already and simply need a chance to speak? How did you begin? Well, Rich, you missed my thing yesterday where I talked about how to do that. And again, my Speaker Mastermind program, if you look at the link below, you'll actually see the entire outline of how it all works and what I talk about. But generally speaking, once you've got your themes, your topics, then what you do is you put together your marketing materials, assets, and your pitch, right? And your pitch is going to be based on several things, including your sell sheet and your email and your website, your video reel, and the target that you're going after. And again, we're going to talk about this actually on, not tomorrow, because tomorrow's my Wisdom Wednesday interview with Marianne Kerr. On Thursday, I'm going to get into that. But how did I begin? Well, first off, the standard thing with coaching programs is that if I only knew when I started all the things I know now, because I try to work with beginners to get them going and build that system and strategy that's going to be more effective. But for me, it took me longer to get to where I wanted to go. Other people, now when I help people, I can get them going in 3 to 6 months. But for me, it took like 2 to 3 years to really get some momentum around what I was trying to do. But what I did back in the day, this is before I was really big on LinkedIn and all those types of stuff. I basically had kept, I had an Excel sheet, and I sent 3,000 emails to everyone I knew that had given me their email over the years. And I said, hey, here's what's going on with me. I left the corporate world. I'm starting to work as a professional speaker. I talk about leadership and soft skills and networking and personal connection. If you have any connections or opportunities, please let me know. And then I sent a brochure to 500 people that I had addresses for. So that's what I did. And then probably in the first, most of my career had been through referrals. People knew what I was doing. They heard about me. I was always a big connector, even before Facebook. And so people knew what I was doing. And so it just kind of worked out that I started getting gigs. So that's what I did, Rich, in the very beginning. Um, yeah, people want to know things. I should. They want to know experience. They definitely value stories and insights and experiences. So that's why when I talk to people, I say, okay, you know what? What are the experience, stories, and insights that you think you want to share, or that other people want to hear from you? Okay. I only speak about topics that I talk about. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, Brandon. So Brandon says I only speak about topics that I can talk about in my sleep. Sure, I think that's a really good way to go. But if there's an evolving trend and things are really exciting and you want to take on something new, you should go for it and learn it and be the first one. Right? There's a great quote: either be different, great, or first. And so I try to be great. I try to be different. But sometimes I like to be first. So, for example, networking was something I was talking about quite a lot, but networking on social media, people weren't talking about it. So I was one of the first out there saying, okay, networking on social media goes hand in hand with networking live. And so how does it work together? So I started talking about that. So I had to evolve my speeches and things like that. So, and in the beginning it was rough because I had to learn the data and then learn my way around. But then I was able to talk about it and again, talk about it in my sleep. Insights of real-time stories. Well, the question with that is, do you talk about insights? Do you talk about stories? I mean, stories are a way for you to connect the insight and connect the knowledge with the people, right? So, the stories may have lessons, and that lessons will then segue into, well, based on that, here are the top 3 tips for networking. Here are the top 3 tips for authentic connection. Here are the top 3 tips for better product quality management, like things like that. So, they are linked for sure. But in a talk, you want to have a mix of both, especially a keynote or a panel. Like you can't just always tell a story. You want to have the specific insights and those nuggets, as we call them. Board games and boardroom strategy was a big article of CEO recently. Really, that's interesting because I'm a huge board game fanatic. In fact, if you know me, you'll see that I have an entire library of board games, and there's even more board games in that bag there. Where's the bag? There's the bag right there. So I'm a big board game fanatic, and if I should do a whole series on board games and what they taught me. Use each board game and talk about the skills I learned. That'd actually be a really interesting topic. I think I might be into that. That'd be kind of fun. Okay, more questions. I have to admit, I keep seeing this live video notification come to my feed and didn't pay attention to it. Now when I see it, I click the link every day. You bring good value. Thank you for the tips. Thanks, Brenda. That's nice. I just wish the link would say what the topic is. Like that would be really helpful to me because then people say, "Oh, Bobby's talking about speaking and how to find your topics." Great. That'd be nice to know. If anybody wants more information on picking your best topic, I just did a video that I uploaded to YouTube. You go to my YouTube channel. It's right there. It's the latest one. It's like 2 minutes. My passion, Elizabeth, my passion is the future of work and how to navigate it needs. Future of work is a very hot topic. So one of the things I was told by other people in the industry, they said, take future of work and add it to your topic. So for example, networking, the future of networking, or the future of connection. So that's something that is now a really hot topic. Future of work or agile. These are things that are really, really exciting topics that are getting a lot of traction. So that's great. Thanks, Elizabeth, for joining in. Any more questions? And so Marianne agrees with Brenda about the working from home thing. And yes, she's joining me tomorrow. We're going to be in a new location too to do bullying in the workplace. It's going to be a great topic. Let's see. Sajid Kumar, last thing to Loki, you told a story about how you met your wife, and I think that would have connected with most. Yeah, sure. Falling in love and meeting somebody, or dealing with a mixed relationship. I tell that on purpose because it's a great story about me and my wife and how we got together. So I do that on purpose to create that connection. And I did that. That was like a minute-long story, right? Thank you, James, for the kind. How do you manage nervousness? Okay, so nervousness. Nerves are... So the first thing to manage nerves is mindset, right? Having nerves means what? Does it mean you're going to fail? No. Does it mean that you're going to be terrible? No. It means you have a little bit of fear, a little bit of doubt. Why? Because you care. Nerves are because you care to deliver your very best. Nerves mean that you want to do a good job. You want to help people. You want to, impress them. You want to serve and teach and whatever it might be. And if you understand that, then it's just a normal thing. It's actually a good thing. If you had zero nerves, you would come across as a completely arrogant, a completely arrogant speaker. You don't want that. And there are people out there who don't have any nerves whatsoever, and they come across as super arrogant. You don't want that. You want to come across someone who's thoughtful and caring. The other way to manage your nerves is, there's different things like preparation manages nerves, rehearsal manages your nerves. Some people have rituals behind the stage. If you ever watched my first TEDx talk on the 5 C's of Connection, I come on stage with a teddy bear. And that was probably the most nervous I ever was in my life before a speech. I was like, actually, I'll even demonstrate this. So I was literally walking, I was walking back and forth, and I was like so nervous. I was so nervous. And then I saw this bear, and I said, "Can I borrow the bear?" And I grabbed the bear and I started hugging it. I was like, okay. Now, why was I so nervous? Well, because a TEDx talk, my first TEDx talk, I knew it was going to be a great marketing tool. I knew it was great for my brand, and I had to deliver, right? And I spent, and normally I don't rehearse that much for my speeches. I rehearsed that thing 30 times. I was so nervous. And but the teddy bear helped. And when I came on stage, I brought the teddy bear with me. I hugged it, put it on the table, and then I started talking. And what's funny is people think that I planned that, but it completely was not at all planned. It's just part of the speech. And it's kind of funny it's there. So I managed my nerves by, I started pacing and that energy kind of got me fired up. And that works really well too. And Marianne said the notification did show the topic this morning. Did it show Marianne, if you can answer for me, did the topic show on your mobile or on your laptop? Because when I see the laptop, I see Bobby's live and there's nothing else. That's all I saw. Okay. Let's see here. More stuff people are sharing. James talks about his own experiences. If you have a friend, you look at that one person. Yeah, that's it. The good way to get over nerves is to look at that one person and feel like you're having a conversation. I try to look at many people in the audience. I try to actually go into the audience if I can. All right, so any more questions? Looks like we don't have any more questions. So, okay. So if we have no more questions, I guess we'll have to end it early today. But, I certainly want to keep talking and share my nuggets on speaking. So, again, if you have any more questions on how to figure out your best topics and create a speaking career, that's great. If you like what you're seeing, again, I'm here every day, 8:30 a.m., Monday to Friday, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, talking about entrepreneurship, career development, personal development, personal branding, leadership, networking, all public speaking, all the things that that I care about, that I'm an expert on, and I like to just engage people, and I'll be here every day. On Wednesdays, I do a weekly Wednesday interview with somebody called Wisdom Wednesday, where I talk to somebody. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to Marianne Kerr, which is going to be great, on bullying in the workplace. It's going to be a great, deep topic. And if you know someone that wants to be interviewed in Toronto, tag them below and let them know. And if you're interested in any of my work that I'm doing, like from personal branding to my speaker mastermind to, check the links below. In fact, I actually have a special offer going on right now, which is I'm trying to grow my Patreon page, which is for career development. And for the first 5 people who sign on, and 2 signed on yesterday, so the first 5 people sign on for one of the tiers, it's like $10 a month, which is not that much. Like it's basically $60 a year. For if you sign on, for whoever signs on for that, for at least 2 months, I'm going to give you 1 hour of free coaching consulting for whatever topic you want. So think about that and put that out there, and you can actually sign on and get that extra bonus, which is worth quite a bit more than what you're actually paying. So think about that. Check out that link below and let me know. More questions. Yay. Okay, good. From Mike, how do you break away from the stigma of not being scared of what other people say or might gossip about you when they find out about your past when you share public speaking? Wow, that's a loaded question. So much stuff here. So how do you break away? Well, So first off, there's something about your past that I guess is a challenge you don't want people to know about. Yeah, that's a tough one. I think the first thing is if you don't want people to own your past, then you have to own your past. And so that might mean that you have to publicly talk about it, maybe do a blog post, be vulnerable and mention, what happened to you, tell the story, and then how you've changed, what you're trying to do to address things for the better. Mention the difficulties if you can. I think that's the first thing. You got to own it, because if you don't own it, they're going to own it over you. That's the first thing. Thank you, Marianne, for that for letting me know about the laptop and mobile. Have the topic. That's good to know. So that's the first thing. The second thing, it takes a lot of mindset building, maybe a little bit of therapy to try to not worry so much about what people think about you. Because the truth is, people will think and say things negatively about you. Like even for me, I try to be as nice a guy as possible. There's people out there that I know absolutely hate me. And so what are you going to do, right? I mean, you can't worry so much about that. And most people who dislike you or or think badly of you, they're usually projecting their own pain. If you can have the empathy to understand that hurt people and they just project their own pain or damage or experience, then it shouldn't bother you as much. It's the same with bullies and trolls. Like when they say stuff, it's not you, it's them. So you have to work on that mindset to not let it get to you so much. And then the other thing I would say is that when you do share public speaking, and when you do more, like just be as good as you possibly do. Like work on your craft, be as good as you can be, and make sure you're the best there is at that topic and how you deliver. And again, if you want to work with someone like myself or someone else, like yeah, get in there and try and figure that stuff out. I think that's a great question, because I think it's okay to be nervous or scared. Again, it means that you care. You care what people think, and you care about doing a good job. So I think that's totally fine. But you have to find a way to own that. Now, without the details, hard for me to answer as best I could. But hopefully that helped you out. Sajid Kumar shared a board game link. That's kind of cool. Marianne says some stuff is no one's business. You have the confidence to let them know. Yeah, if you own your story and with whatever you're comfortable sharing, then no one else can own it from you, right? So you have to get ahead of it. You have to get ahead of the story and just own that. That's really the big thing. All right, so I think that's we're near the end of my broadcast today. It looks like we've thank you, Fanny, for the kind words. And again, if you are reading this, watching this replay, and apologize that there was a break in the broadcast. If you watch this replay, tag people below, get them to join us today and tomorrow. Like, heart, all that kind of stuff. Share on your page. Tag me. Let me know if you have any other questions. I will see you tomorrow for the interview Wisdom Wednesday with Marianne Kerr on bullying in the workplace. And excited to continue this journey of public speaking and helping you do more speaking. I think that's so important for everybody. That's why I always ask people, are you doing any more speaking? What are you trying to do? All right, so thanks so much. Hope you guys join me tomorrow, and wish you guys a wonderful Tuesday. Take care. Talk soon.